Hi, my name is Colleen, and I am going to show you how I make the masks. There are several different kinds. One kind I've made is this with the elastic, and these elastics are from the dollar store, and they work really well. They're for the headbands, and I've been cutting them in half, one of them in half, and using it for either end. So that's one option. The other option is to have the tie, which I've been using ribbon or binding tape, whatever you can find. So these are a couple different options, but I'm going to show you how I make my mask. All right, you have two pieces of fabric. I do 9 inches by 9 inches, and I have the front facing each other. So their backs are here and the back is here. And I start out in my machine, and I go over here to near the bottom, depending on if you have a pattern on your mask fabric. You may want to make sure that this is the bottom if there's photos or pictures on here. So I start here about a little less than halfway, a little more than halfway down here. And I start and I go forward and backwards, and when I get towards the end, then I pick out one of my strings from the dollar store, cut it in half, and I take one of them here, and when I get to this first corner, I lift this up and I put this band right here in the corner. It's kind of pointing in the corner. Then I fold this down, if you can see, and then I go over it a couple times. And then I come up and make sure the needle goes in so I can lift it up and turn it. Now I make sure that these sides are together. And then I go forward a little bit and backward again. I go all the way down to the end. And just before I get to the end, I reach inside and find the end of that band. And I pull that band over here, just like I did before. And I put it here in the corner. And then pull this down. And I do again. Go over the band a couple of times. And then I bring it back so I have the needle stuck inside. Lift up, turn it around again. Now you can see I've got the band is here and it connects to this corner. So now I'm going to fold this fabric over here, make sure it's nice and straight, go over that band again. Sometimes it gets stuck a little bit. Bring this together so it's even. And then I go just about to the end again. Then I lift it up and I get my second band. I keep calling it a headband. Put it here at the corner, cover it up so you can see it's covered. Meet the corners together, and then I go over again, back and forth a couple of times. I get it in there, the needle in there, turn it again, and I go back and forth on the corner a couple times, then I go back down, just before I get to the end. I reach inside. This time it's a little tight. Find the end of that band, bring it over here. It's a little tight. You bring it right to that corner. You fold this down. And you go up. Go over it a couple times. When you get it in there, then you turn it once more. Now, you've already started here. This is where you started, right here. So what we're going to do is just sew, go back and forth on that corner, sew up a little bit, go back and forth, and then take it off. Now you have the elastic on this end and the elastic on this end. So now we're going to turn it inside out. We got the TV going in the background in case you can hear that. So once you see these bands coming out, you can start pulling them. Pull them out pretty good. You find the side that was open, and there's two options. We can sew it shut, which is what I've been doing, or you can sew it about here, because this is where I ended here and this is where I ended here. So this is open in here. So you can take this and sew just a little bit, leave it open, and they can put a filter inside, or you could just sew it shut. I'm just going to sew it shut to finish this one off. So I'll put it back on here with my needle. Go in here, and you're going to sew all along here, going over the top. Go back and forth to the end, then cut it. And then just because I'm a little neurotic, I make sure and cut all the strings on the end. So you've got that end all sewn. Then you turn it over on this side, and it looks like it's pretty good. Sometimes I'll take it and I'll hit it on the side of the table to make sure that this is out good enough. And then it's just the opposite side of where you've sewed it. Over here on this side, I sew this side. So I put it on the machine again, go right up. Take it off, cut the ends. Oh, two of them there. So now you've got it. And this is how you make the beginning of this. Now, what we do is we snap this, make sure that it's out. Make sure that that's nice there. And I take this together like this. Oh, I don't have any pins. Thank you. I take, as you've seen, I take the end with the bands and put them together. Put my finger in there like this, and then I push these together, and I take a pin and I go right here. Doesn't have to be exact. All right, so I have that like that. Then I open up these two ends like this, and I open this loop that I made here, and I open it up and spread it out. I don't know if you saw what I did, but this is where the pin is. I open this up, and that's the loop. I press the loop in there, take another pin, push it in here. Fabric gets a little tough because it's tight. You're going through a lot of layers. Then you take this pin out that's holding it in the center and pin this side. All right, so now you have that. Then, because you have this section here, I put my finger back here and bring this out and make a fold there. Take another pin, go right here. So I've got one loop here, I've got the double loop in the center, and on this side I do the same thing like this. It doesn't have to go over here, just enough. Take another pin, put it in there. So now I have it like this. All right. Mine's just a little bit from most other people's. So now I take that end and I put it on the machine. And sometimes you have to give the machine a little bit of help to go through it. Cut it, cut the ends. Now I have this end done. So I have one big loop in the front and two little loops on either side, like that. Then I turn it over and I take this and I do the same thing, putting those two together at that end. And I put my finger in here to make that like that. Hold it together. Take a pin and go through the fabric just like that. Okay? Then I open this up and I open up this loop. Press this loop together like this. Make sure these line up. I take a pin, go through this side, a little tough to go through, and then come through there. And then I hold this together, take the middle one out, and use that one to pin that side in. So we did the center one. See the center one here? Yeah, let me see if I can fix this. There we go. Now we have this done. Now we're going to take my finger and make the loop here. Get a pin. Oops, drop the pin. Get the pin, go in here, hold that one. So now I have one loop going here, same as on the bottom. Then I take this side and make another loop. Like that. Get a pin. Whoop. Put that pin in there. So I have that end done. And then we sew this together. Snip it. Snip it. Ah, all right. Now we take these pins out and these pins out. So now we have one of these, and we've got the big loop in the front and the two on the side here, which goes down and meets the bottom. And then when it's stretched out, it goes like this. Now, one mentionable mark, I should say, is that I have this as the front with the loops on the outside. So it's a good idea if you put maybe a letter B back here so that they know that this is the back.
With the magic.
Use a magic marker or something that would be permanent on there and put a B on the back, and that way they know that this is the side that their face goes, so they don't accidentally put it on the wrong way. Plus, when you think about it, it opens up this way. So someone who doesn't make this doesn't realize that that was made for that purpose. And there is one mask made. I use a 9 by 9 inch fabric twice, doubled, so then I turn them inside out and sew them and then turn them right side in. And then I make these are the headbands from the dollar store, and when I open them up, I save the ones that are at least 14 inches. 14 and a half is good too, and I cut them in half, and that's what I use, and that seems to be sufficient. And one other mention, it is a good idea to take the fabric and wash it in hot water and dry it before you do any sewing, because this way it shrinks and you don't have to worry about it shrinking later and the mask will be too small for someone. I have the fabric washed and dried, and then I iron it out. That way it's nice and flat, so then I can do these. Any questions? Let me know.